The member states need to implement the nature restoration law, of course, which is an umbrella political framework that combines different regulations and guidelines. So there's an important role for the member states to actually make this happen. And it also means that they need to work together with the regions, with the cities, and with different stakeholders. In other words, they need to create a working space where the nature restoration law can actually become effective. They would certainly also need to adopt probably a couple of laws, and they would also certainly need to provide financial support and capacity building support also to the different stakeholders that will need to be involved. Well, this law brings together different aspects that are related to nature-based solutions, of course, but also biodiversity, green and blue infrastructures, nature restoration in a more general way. So in that sense, it is really part of this new law. And we know that nature-based solutions are now embedded in different regulations and different guidelines. So what is really important about this new law is that it brings everything together, and that will create a strong political framework, allowing all the different stakeholders that need to be involved to act jointly to make, indeed, to really also give these inventions in nature-based solutions a further push forward. I would say the biggest challenge is really to dedicate political leadership and to organize societal support. I think it's absolutely fundamental to make the nature restoration law a success in the different countries. So we really need to involve everyone. That means the different governmental levels, going from cities to regions to the national levels, across different sectors. Many different ministries will need to be involved, not just the ministries for the environment, but also agriculture, ministries dealing also with cities, for instance, research ministries also. That requires a lot of coordination and cooperation. And not unimportantly, we need to work with the different actors. And by different actors, I mean not only governmental actors, but also non-governmental actors, citizens, civil society, and we definitely also need to work more closely with the private sector. So these are big challenges also for the member states. I think we also need another challenge for the member states is to create this societal support and to communicate very clearly. I think this is absolutely necessary to involve the public also, because we need to make this extra effort. That is a very interesting question, of course. It's a very political question at the same time. And I think to answer that question, we also need to see that for decades, policies related to nature restoration and to biodiversity, NBS and also climate adaptation, they have been scattered over different political sectors. So to implement the nature restoration law would need that we need to change also the way we work together and also the way we look at costs and cost distribution. Now we know that many economic benefits related or that lead to, let's say, that have a negative impact on nature. The costs of these economic activities are not always distributed evenly. In other words, the polluter does not always pay the price for pollution. Flights, for instance, airlines is a clear example of how an activity for which there are good substitutes are not taxed, let's say, in a just way. So that means that we need to have a different look at our tax systems also in the different member states. We need to make sure that the transition that we talk about will be a just transition. And we also need to make sure that the polluter will actually pay more for the pollution that will be created. And we need to do this in a just way. We need to make sure that this transition is just, that the burden will be more evenly distributed. And actually, I would say that the strongest shoulders should really bear the heaviest burden. We need to make sure that let's say the people who are less well off in society will not be the victims of the nature restoration law. And in order to have this, let's say, political and societal support, we need to make sure that we actually change society in such a way that it will become more just, more green also, and more healthy in the end for the average citizen.